Okay, so something's going well, something's not going so well. Um, the positive news is we're on round 4, and he still only has 2 U.S., 1 UK transport on this side of the Atlantic. He does have these 4 U.S. transports he's tucked back here, which presumably are coming to Season 3 as he moves all this on up to Season 3 next turn to defend it. The bad news for me, and it's just absolute just kudos to my opponent, Dutch Crunch. He did what I knew about and I should have been thinking about, but he just used his 1 transport to attack with a infantry artillery and then used a battleship and cruiser bombard on France. And I do that all the time to try to take out the AAs that a lot of times are sitting first. I forgot my defense profile. I didn't switch it back. I had an AA bomber, so he took out an AA and one of my bombers at the cost of an infantry and artillery for him. So, like I said, just kudos for smart heads-up play for him. He got a good result. Bad on me for not changing my defense profile. I know better when I have my bombers up here on the coastal territories to get that tucked in better. So I've already switched it for next turn because I am going to leave the bomber here because again it is creating logistical areas for him right here, right? So I can keep France stacked pretty lightly because he couldn't have these 4 transports sitting here. If those 4 transports are sitting in C zone 10, it would take a lot more infantry for me to stack France right now, but we're not going to have to, so that's good. Um, but we lost a bomber. That's the bad news. Down here, it looks like he must have attacked. Yeah, so he attacked Sedan here. I lost 1 infantry. He lost the infantry and the tank. And okay, his bomber survived. He's kept his bomber alive, but that gives me 2 units here versus his 2 here. Plus, I got my Japan guys here, so I got an advantage here in Africa for a little bit. Presumably, he's going to bring some people down, but that's also why we're going to leave our bomber here to make it a little more awkward. At this point, with my fighter placements, fighters in France aren't doing me a whole lot of good other than C-Zone 13 here, which he's already kind of shown his hand that he's got to get enough up to C-Zone 3. He could come back down here, but he's only going to have 1 transport, so then I could shift and stack Italy next turn if I need to. So I'm not worried about dead zoning C-Zone 13 right now. I'm more interested in 23 having a bomber threat to it so that he can't get down here to Africa where we're going to be playing hard to get. So yeah, that's where we stand there. Obviously, this is not good. We don't like seeing all that mess. But we're going to get the 5 German fighters. We're going to go ahead and put them all in Karelia. Because that'll help make him have to defend C-Zone 3 heavily. It does give him the opportunity to drop more ships in 7, although he'll just have to protect against my 1 bomber. But he's getting to that point where I'm not really going to be able to do much about it. We've done a pretty good job of slowing and delaying America's movements over here. We cut off the Med for right now. We can always come back because we're going to hold on to France. If he shifts around, we can always come back down this way and kind of try to dead zone it again. So that part's been successful with delaying his fleet, but this is a mess and continues to be a mess, and will probably continue to be a mess until Japan can hurry their tail ends up and get over here. So good news, we got 45 IPC. Italy is standing, so I'm just gonna max out my ground because I need to get some more units on the ground here. It's always nice when you can buy 15 infantry with Germany. That's always a good feeling. I mean, we could just go right at these guys, right? A slight advantage. And let Japan do their thing. But I think Japan's probably going to come here, and then next turn be threatening these guys. Yeah, I think we're just going to collect up and defense up. All right. There. Definitely realizing I need to work on my German play. That's going to be something that I'm going to, especially through playing League now that I'm playing some more Axis again, I got to refresh myself up. I got to actually stop and think a little bit more than... Oh, oh man. Mercy, mercy, mercy. That means these tanks are going to be able to blitz over this way. Ah. Erg. I think I just had played too risky with the reinforcements to Ukraine, and I guess I'm just paying for it. Or paid too conservative on G1. I tend to play too conservative on G1, and then I play too aggressive down here, or too risky down here, I guess. Well, we'll have to do a self-analysis later. Well, that's not as big, but still. Well, that does affect my plans a little bit here. So I was planning on moving these guys, continue to funnel up through the Baltic here. Because of these 6 fighters that can hit me with the infantry artillery, I gotta be. I need a fairly sizable stack here going through. I only need 10 infantry up here, so I could just leave these 4 here. So I'm gonna look at this. I'm gonna pull out the calculator, play on some numbers. On what I want to do as far as putting some units into here with his tank blitz possibility and his fighters, and so I'm going to punch some numbers around to see what we can do. So just keep an eye on out, what I end up putting through these two, what I end up having in Baltic and using to be stacked up here in Karelia.